love you, Buffalo.
I had been doing really well by most people's standards, working pretty steadily for a good 20 years almost. And around 2010, I was working on a show in New Orleans called Delta Blues, and then they changed the title, but neither here nor there. But I was cut out of the second season. And so it pulled the rug out from me uh, financially and kind of squashed me for a while. I didn't work for about 2 years. And I was really frustrated with the business. And my friend said, "Why don't you come back to acting class?" And I was like, to do what? To read plays and be like, nah, do I really want to do, living room dramas? But he talked me into it, and I went back to class with Steppenwolf Theater Company West, which is their branch in Los Angeles. There's a Chicago-based, well-known theater company. And I wound up taking a class from these two people, Alexander Billings and Eric Honeycutt. And the class was something called Viewpoints, which was an approach to character creation coming from the physical manifestation. It came out of the world of dance in the 70s in New York City. And I'm not going to be able to get all the names correct for it, but viewpoints. You can look into, the great thing about modern life, you can Google viewpoints right now and read up on it. Uh, anyway, I had gotten lazy as an actor and was just sort of, relying on my usual bag of tricks. And when I started class with especially Alexander Billings, um, it just changed it didn't, not only did it change my approach to acting, but it changed my approach to life because it was a weird mash of improv and digging deep for that sort of true soul connection to these characters. And it was just such a different approach from the stuff I'd been doing on camera that it reinvigorated my passion for acting. And what I learned during that process is that there are the three P's of acting. This is the soundbite right here. The three P's of acting: passion, practice, participation.
Mm.
So if you have the passion for it, you're going to want to do it no matter what. I believe that talent is a myth and practice is everything. The more you practice, whether it's just the lines for your audition or we're going to get into this, but I think every actor should just go ahead and make their own films at this point.
Mm-hmm.
The more you practice, the more talent will seep from you. Participation means you go see your friends when they're in a play.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
means you go to the conferences that a place like Casting Buffalo hosts.
Mm-hmm.
It means you get to know the other people in the film community, you support them, you become interested in what is going on in the world of film, TV, etc. So that's my sort of big takeaway from going back to class and examining what it meant for me to be an actor.
The three P's
The
will be
three P's.
famous. Okay? After this podcast, the three P's will definitely be something that people will be talking about. You hit those right on the head. For us all being in this business, what you just the method that you just came up with, those three P's, is the key to success in this business. And that's something that
And in life.
absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
wow.
Definitely.
Just that passion, anything you're passionate about, and the practice. I tell actors a lot that, if you want to act, you got to do it. What good is an electrician if he's not like fixing things, right? Like you have to be out there practicing. And then the participation thing is the networking aspect, right?
We
You
preach
wanna
that
get these
all the
parts,
time.
You got to do that.
Yeah.
Just wonderful advice there.
Well, the voice you're hearing and the person you're seeing is Abraham Benrubi, and thank you so much for coming to Podcasting Buffalo. You are an incredible actor who's been doing it for years, and hey, you got to give yourselves props, man. It's the longevity of doing this, and someone who I've seen my whole life in film, television, voice work and beyond.
And quite an array of projects, we should say, too. I mean, I think that's something that I find quite impressive, not just the fact that you've been at it for so many decades, but you've had, quite a variety of,
there's
of
range.
work. You're not just doing one thing. That's pretty cool.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm just going to talk more about how much we like you. That's it.
You guys are very kind. And honestly, I'm grateful to be on here. I remember seeing all of you lurking around on the set when I was there in Buffalo making the Holiday Touchdown movie.
Yes.
And I wish I'd had more time to come play with you, but you guys were orchestrating like massive crowds in the rain, and I was like, let them do their job.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Well, that's obviously the introduction, to this. We met Abe on the set of Holiday Touchdown. The movie has just been released as well. It's been a lot of just media frenzy and just a lot of excitement, revolving around this movie. Tell us your thoughts on it. Have you seen the film yet? And what do you think about it?
My wife and I watched it last night, and
Go Bills.
I think it's just great, man. I wish that every city could have a movie made about it that showcased its glory in the way that this Holiday Touchdown movie is showing you little glimpses of Buffalo, right? Like, I had a great time there, and there's so many great elements of Buffalo on the screen in Holiday Touchdown. I think they really did a good job.
You mentioned something. You said you wish that this should be in every city, right? Every city should have a movie like this. Is that because you're going to be playing Santa in all of them? Because right now, two of them, right? So, like, how great is that you get to be this reoccurring character? This is they brought you back for the Bills one. Tell us about that process.
So I had made I'd made a Western and another Christmas movie with the director of Holiday Touchdown, Dustin Reichert. And I was friends with the director of the Chiefs movie, John Putch. And I managed to weasel my way into that one. And it went well. And I met a lot of great people from Hallmark, and I got to tell you guys, it is such a different experience to work with this crew that put this movie together than it is to work on like a big fat Hollywood movie. It's tight and friendly, and there's no drama, and it was just such a joy to be a part of that kind of production. And then when you, like in Buffalo, when I would go to a restaurant and maybe somebody would be like, "Aren't you an actor?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, what are you doing in Buffalo?" "Oh, I'm working on this Hallmark movie." "Oh, what's it about?" "Oh, it's a Christmas movie about the Buffalo Bills." And they're, "It's about the Bills? What are you talking about? You're in Buffalo and then the Bills are getting a movie. Who's in the movie?" Right? Like the enthusiasm of the mash of Hallmark and NFL is beyond, and it's really cool, man. It's not something that you get normally from a movie experience. Like, nobody's rushing up to me and being crazy about Call of the Wild. So that was really fun to be there and experience the the zealotry, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Word.
as Buffalonians, like, we know we're excited, but for us it's always interesting, especially like people who were cast and major players in it, to like, did you feel Buffalo in the movie? Did you feel, you know what I mean, on set? Because we know this city's nuts. But it was really a great time for all of us. And I also think that the environment that synthetic cinema created too, as an indie film, was wonderful. Mm-hmm. It was a fresh air to us all.
It's exemplary, and I'm thrilled that so many Buffalo crew got to experience that, because as you guys go forward and make your own stuff, hint, hint, you can keep that spirit, right? Like, I can't. It's spoiler alert, but in the film, there's a big scene at the game at the stadium, at the old stadium, and it was just pouring rain for 2 days. And you guys had, how many people did you have there? 2,000 people?
Yeah,
something like that.
25, I think it was, like 2,500.
2,500 people in the rain, cheering for a fake game. I mean, it's amazing, right? Like, not too many people would be sitting through that. And the Bills fans were there. The Bills Mafia showed up for this movie, and it makes a huge difference. You see it on screen, and it infected the whole cast. Joey Pants was like, "Oh man, the Bills! I'm a Bills fan now." You know, it's infectious. You guys have a good city, and you have good people there who know how to make films. And I just don't wait for Hollywood, you guys.
We've been starting to get Hollywood films in and majors coming through, but like the base, that's the bones of it. We've been working 10, 15 years together, so the family's there, and it really is to the point of like, we know the tricks of the trade, we know the conversations, we know the networking to be had, we know what we need to do to create. And I think a lot of us, we actually literally had a wrap party for a major the other night, and there was a ton of buzz in the room where we're like, what are we waiting for? Like, we were waiting for the cavalry to come. We're the cavalry. It's time. So I think now that this city is going to continue to grow because of the tax credit and the films coming through, we need to take that next step of the pedestal as a crew and film family to community to make that leap for ourselves, because that's how we're going to sustain. That's how we're going to sustain, for sure.
Well, let's transition. I want to hear a little bit more about your early career. Looking at your impressive array of credits, I mean, you got stuff in there. I mean, classic shows that we've watched, right? You started off, in television, doing a lot of sitcom work. Were you a teen actor? Tell us about those early years.
Well, I grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I started, my very first role was in third grade as Santa Claus.
Oh my God.
Full circle.
Wow. I'm at full circle.
Keeping it in the repertoire. And I wound up starting doing theater at the local Civic Theater, Indianapolis Civic Theater, which was a great kids program. And we did a lot of like the Red Shoes and, Rumpelstiltskin kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And in high school, I went to Broad Ripple High School, and we had a performing arts department that was pretty robust, considering it was a public school. And a PBS after-school special came to see if they could hire any local teenagers for their anti-drug miniseries, and a few of us got to audition, and I got a small part in that. I was like the pill pusher at the pool hall. And that was called Private Victories. It's still out there somewhere.
Wow.
So from that, a Hollywood movie came to Indianapolis to use our Olympic diving facility. And they somehow watched this Private Victories watching the lead girl, and they saw me, and they were like, "Oh, we need a big bully in our movie." And so I got to audition for this Hollywood movie called Diving In, and I wound up getting that part, and they sort of wrote me into the rest of the movie as the bad guy's henchman. And the director of that was an Australian fellow named Strath Hamilton, and he encouraged me to come and meet his agent in LA. So I went out there for 2 weeks. I stayed with a friend of my mom's. I met this guy, Scott Manners, and the first thing he said to me is, "How come you weren't a football player?" And I said, "Well, I was too busy in ballet."
Yes.
That's how I got my agent. So that being said,
let me
yeah,
ask
well,
you. Let me ask you this.
I won't. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this, right? So for the audience and maybe the viewers, they may not know how big you actually are, right? So like even your size, you are ginormous. I'm a little guy. Everybody knows me, right?
Say,
Okay, I'm a little guy, but
you could probably
you're 6'7",
Pete
right?
Twice.
Yeah, you're 6'7", right? How tall are you?
That's why you're sitting closer to the camera, right?
Right.
Makes you look bigger than
It's the Tom Cruise effect.
They use that in Lord of the Rings.
Right. Yeah.
I'm big. I'm 6'7". I'm about 260 pounds. I told you earlier I had been in New Orleans, so I spent about 6 months in New Orleans. And when I left New Orleans, I was 375.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Now,
Wow.
the reason I asked that, okay, is Beck, I want you to also tell me about how, has it been a benefit or how interesting your career has been being a person of that size? Because as casting directors, we oftentimes, if we're casting leads or if we're casting other characters, they have to be within that range to be able to fit together on screen, right? These are things that actors don't look at, because sometimes it'll be, an actor will ask me, how come they didn't get the part? And physicality does play a part in that, right? Like what you look like physically on camera.
Of course.
How have you been able to navigate your career? Being 6'7", that's bigger than most people. What type of roles have you been attracting because of that?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was lucky because I came into the business at a time when there was less competition than there is now. Okay, bye, Jordan.
Yeah, came to fix my mic.
So, at the time when I started, let's call it the first 5 years, I only was up against like maybe 6 other dudes, right?
Yeah.
Like there were only about 6 to 10 big dudes, and because I had had some early success with a show called Parker Lewis Can't Lose, I was able to get in the door and have like one less step, right? Like maybe I got to skip the pre-read at that point. Most of the roles that I wound up auditioning for are the big guy, and sometimes it's the gentle giant, and sometimes it's the tougher guy. And I don't really book the tougher guy roles very often. If you look at it, every now and then they try to make me into a tough guy. I did a great movie with Oliver Stone called it was Stray Dogs when we did it. I don't remember what it's called now. But anyway, I was supposed to be this tough biker dude with tattoos and such. And I, that's a great audition story. Ask me, somebody take a note to ask me about the Oliver Stone movie,
Okay,
and I'll try to remember what it's called, or you can look it up.
Do you feel like that physicality has helped you? Has been a burden? Has not, been exactly what you wanted, or is there things that you wanted beyond that, or have you come to love, that archetype,
Well, I think as we're meant to be speaking to young up and coming actors,
yeah,
what I would say to that is it has both been an advantage and a disadvantage. Yeah. It's been an advantage in that there are less people up for the roles because there's only so many people that are over 6.5 feet tall. but it's been a disadvantage in that it's easy to get typecast as just the big guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I got lucky being on ER
Yeah.
because that role
Mm-hmm.
could have been anybody. And the bigness of it only came into play when they needed to make a joke of it, which
Mm.
I always appreciate. And because people, so many people saw that show in Hollywood, I sort of lost the archetype of the big guy, right? I was going up for other roles. That's kind of gone back now with less exposure, and mostly what I go for is the breakdown is gonna say he's a big dude with a beard, right?
Yeah.
Or he's eating a piece of cake, or you guys read enough breakdowns to know. Um, but I think that the takeaway from that is, as an actor, you may like for me, I would love to play a knight in shining armor,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Not out of the question, just based on physicality. But the minute I start speaking with my Midwestern American accent, maybe it doesn't make as much sense. And no matter how good my British accent is, I'm not going to beat an actual British actor to
Yeah.
play a knight in shining armor. I don't think, unless I'm a big movie star, right? The big movie stars, that's a whole nother. Listen, let me interject this. The big movie stars is an entirely different world.
Yeah.
I don't even think of that as acting. That is,
Yeah.
it is movie starring,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
What I do is still acting.
Yeah.
I can still go to the grocery,
Yeah.
without being harassed. Um, so that's a great thing to aspire to, but it's fucking impossible.
Yeah. I mean, I think Martin Scorsese said it once, where it's like a lot of the big Marvel movies and these big tentpole films and movie stars, it's like a Disney World or Universal. It's an attraction. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It is an attraction, and it is an entirely different world. And there's so many people, amazing actors out there that like that's what you should have been inspiring to do, is finding the characters. And we spoke with our good friend Bill Fichtner, and
Yeah.
he talked about how like it's about this characters. It's about what do you find in there that you can feed on, and that it doesn't have. He's like, no one will ever hire me as the lead actor. He's like, but that's not where the adventure is. The adventure is in the character. And it's so true. And like, I wanted to bring up ER naturally because that was such a phenomenon in television. And for you being such a major role in that, is incredible. And it really is, an amazing thing for you to stand your laurels on. And I would love to hear more of that experience, and what it did to your career, what it did to you as, as an actor, as talent,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of change your life a little bit. Yeah.
Yes, and
Yes.
um, I have for your improv community kids, which I love. I'm like a devotee of Robin Williams style improv. But I've decided that there's a new game. It's yes and yet.
I like that. Yes,
Yeah.
I love it.
Right.
Yeah. That's good.
Acting joke. Bad acting joke. ER was massive. I mean, it was at one point there were allegedly 40 million people watching the show
Yeah.
every week, right? I don't remember when that happened, but it was quick. It was like the fourth or fifth episode. It skyrocketed. So what was super cool about that, there's so many elements, but the coolest thing I think was watching George Clooney going from being a very, a respected working actor
Yeah.
who was, handsome guy who's on magazine covers and all that shit, to being Batman, right?
Yep.
That was an astounding thing to experience. And he's a great example of he's an excellent actor. He's wonderful to watch. He invests his entire spirit and being um, into the character that he's playing. But he's so much more interesting in real life. Like he's super intelligent. He remembers people. This is a great. George Clooney's a great example of participation. I remember riding on a golf cart with him across the Warner Brothers lot, and here comes another cart, and he'd go, "Hey, there's Steve Galan, executive. How's your daughter Susie? Is she still playing golf every weekend with your ex-wife?" Like he knew all these crazy details about people's lives because
Yeah.
he was invested in the entirety of the show business
Yeah.
as opposed to just being an actor, right? And you see that with what he's done since. So to even get a little tiny glimpse of that was, I was like, oh shit, there are people who are destined to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just lucky to even get to like stick my foot in the water because it's a lot of to focus your entire being on show business. I don't think I can do that.
Yeah.
I have other interests, So I was astonished by that. Another super cool part was all the guest stars we had.
Yeah.
Like, so many legends came through there.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Alda from MASH.
Mm-hmm.
Another tall actor too.
Another tall actor. Yeah, we can. So I said to him, "What are you doing here? Why are you doing?"
You said I'm the only tall actor here, buddy.
Yeah, that's right. Get off my set, tall guy. No, and he said to me, "You can be very famous and not be very rich."
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Yeah, but you're Alan Alda."
Right.
He just smiled at me. I was like, "God damn, dude. Okay." So that was a good lesson to learn, and he was right. Um, ER was magic. There's never going to be another show like that.
No.
There will be other hospital shows, but
It certainly
mix
set a
Precedent.
yeah.
It did.
There was, and so many shows have
I mean,
followed since.
it changed television it's 1994, so we're talking about whatever that is, 30 years ago already.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, with all those guest stars, it must have been a clinic for you to just watch and take in guest star after people who've been all walks of life and all walks of study to come through and just, especially at the age when you were doing it too, to just like absorb all of that.
Oh, it's so many heroes, man. Clancy Brown from Highlander.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the show for like a year. Donald Logue, who was the taxi driver for MTV, who was a hero of mine back then. And he's still a great, these guys, they're legends. They were legends on there. It's still unreal to me that I got to be a part of that in any way. And, big corn-fed boy from Indiana pretending to be Spider-Man in his mom's basement that winds up on this giant show. It's
so cool.
And this is the lure of Hollywood, kids. It could happen to you.
Let me ask you, Abe, out of your career, from television, film, what are some of your, maybe give me two of what your favorite projects were to work on, and what did you take away from those experiences?
Mm-hmm. Man. Two favorite projects. First favorite project is a film called Without a Paddle.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I was going to bring it up. Thank you. Okay.
That was a great.
That experience was utterly unique. That was a big Hollywood production. We filmed in New Zealand. They carted us all around the North Island of New Zealand. We flew in a helicopter. Ethan Suplee and I played brothers, and we're like redneck pot farmers. And there was a day when we worked really late, and then we had a really early call. So they flew us from the set on a helicopter back to the grass in front of the hotel because that's how they do shit in New Zealand back then. Um, and when we were on this ride, the pilot was like, "Oh yeah, you wanna see a waterfall?" And we're like, "Yeah." And so we did like this stunt run up the river, and I mean, for me, probably the best part about show business is the travel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm such an explorer. I love to find all the good bookstores and record stores, which I did in Buffalo, and the New Zealand adventure was just like it's a magical place. We were treated like movie stars, and I don't anticipate that ever happening again. But I highly recommend if you can become if you can hire someone that goes to New Zealand. Um, so yes, that was a fantastic experience. I made some really good friends on that I'm still friends with on that, which doesn't always happen. Um, and then my second favorite experience, I also I like the opposite end of that, right? I like a really everybody's getting paid the same. We're all in this together. You hump a light up the hill if you have to. Independent movie. So for I made a lot of those. And I think probably my favorite experience of that would have been a movie called Wrist Cutters,
Okay.
a love story, um, which has Patrick Fugit in it, and I play an Austrian zombie
I love it.
who complains about cottage cheese. And my dressing room was my car. And everybody just it's like a more like a summer camp kind of feeling to making a movie, and
Mm-hmm.
I love both
Yeah.
ends of that. It's only when you're somewhere in the middle, like doing a on soundstage TV show, where I get a little like but man, if I'm like, we had a great scene in Holiday Touchdown where I'm with these reindeer, right, out on the hilltop, and there's the view of all of Buffalo.
Mhm.
You guys probably know which park
Chestnut
that is. I'm
Ridge.
not
Yeah,
gonna remember.
Chestnut Ridge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chestnut Ridge. Yep.
So great. So what a great place. And I'm out there with reindeer, man, with real reindeer. Like what?
As I recall, they were actually from Buffalo. Those reindeer, weren't
Yes,
they?
they're local. That's
Yeah.
right.
They're locals.
And
They were local hires.
Yeah.
Wow.
they were local. You guys probably had how many? I mean, how many reindeer did you go through before you found those two that
Yeah.
were
No, those are the best. And like when I was going through, and I've tracked you a long time just because like we're one of those faces growing up for me that I was like, oh, it's Abraham, but yeah, that's why like Without a Paddle was like, I need to bring it up because like that, like for me, I love that movie, and like I could list the things that I love, which is like, of course, where I'm going to say George of the Jungle, which I'm sure you hear all the
Love
time.
George of the Jungle.
I brought it up to you before, but my wife is a huge Buffy fan, and the 2 episodes that you played there, like The Shadow. I love that movie. You know what I mean? I was like, he got to be on the set of that movie. But all those smaller things to like the real indie things. My question to you was, after you had your reinvigoration of acting, what was that first project that you came back to and said, okay, this is my reset? What was that?
I wound up becoming a part of a theater company called Sacred Fools in Los Angeles, and I wound up producing a play about Sherlock Holmes. Um, that was a sequel to a play that had gotten me into that theater company, and I I'm trying to remember what the next actual film project was. It was a while. I
Yeah.
didn't work for a while, or I worked a little bit, but I'm gonna say that the next super fun thing I did was a TV show called APB, which we made in Chicago. Uh, and that was super fun because I was like a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to shoot in a really cool actual University of Chicago science lab with the real like a sterile room and all of that. Um, I don't think I really got to. That wasn't one where I really got to dig into it. But the next project was a show called Barkskins, which was set in 16th century Quebec and was sort of the story of the conflict between the Dutch East India Company, the French military, and the native First Nations Native American people. And that was a really cool, kind of odd production, directed by the guy who had directed 30 Days of Night, which is a
Okay.
great vampire movie.
It's great.
You guys need to make a Buffalo vampire movie. P.S.
Ooh, all right. I'm on it. I'm a horror guy,
Yeah.
so I'm on it.
Oh, you are? Oh,
yeah.
fantastic. Well, then, then let's just transition to this. Another fantastically super fun movie that I am 100% inspired by is Christmas Bloody Christmas, where I, again, play a Santa Claus. This time a little bit less friendly than the one in the Hallmark movie. So what's cool about Christmas Bloody Christmas, and this is a great thing for your community to look at, is the guys who made this film, Joe Bagos and Josh Ethier. They have a company called Channel 83, and they do these. They've been pretty low budget up to now, but they shoot on 16 millimeter.
That's
They have a really tight-knit crew of all horror fans. They came from Rhode Island. They've stayed together. They've kept like what he's able to. He has a movie out recently called Jimmy and Stiggs that he shot by himself with later they added other people, but he basically shot this thing over 4 years by himself in his apartment.
Wow.
During COVID, they started. And it is a psychedelic punk rock metal crazy film. So those guys inspire me thinking that there's another generation of young filmmakers who are going to tear shit up, throw away the fucking Marvel movies, and make some really interesting cinema.
Yeah.
I love it. It's burning in my mind. If there's a Buffalo vampire movie, are you coming into town?
Yeah, if you need a big fat vampire.
Oh, look at you. Whatever you need.
I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna need.
Right.
No, I mean, there's so much great old architecture in Buffalo.
Yes.
I would love to see somebody take advantage of that, and a vampire would be a good choice.
Yeah, there's a lot of indie filmmaking here in Buffalo. The Greg Lambersons, the Sam Qualianas, who've really, really ate in that department locally, and they're always hardworking. We have this awesome local film festival, Fantasy Film Fest, that amazing Fantasy Fest.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got to get it right.
Yeah.
For Greg, that he puts on to try to get a lot of local horror filmmakers, and I think that's the genre. That genre will never die. That genre is something that we all can connect with, and they make money, which
That's the rumor.
that's the rumor. Which that's the thing. I'm not someone who's worried about the money, but it does pique people's interest. Is horror.
Of course. Somebody's got to put up the money.
Yeah, exactly. But it's something that can turn over, and
Yep.
no, that's great to know that is where your mind sits. That's good to know for me, which is horror, man. That's great. And you talking about that passion of get up off the ground, do it yourself. It's something that we've really started to preach a lot, and I don't know if you have any other advice to doing it. Is there something that you're working on yourself? Is there something that that you want.
Yes, and I'm trying to convince my director to bring it to Western New York, as a matter of fact.
Amazing.
So we're in the early stages. Everybody's got a project in early stages, and I think we just got some seed money.
If you need any casting support, I know a great company here in Buffalo.
Believe me, if this actually happens, I will 100% be coming to you guys.
Please, yeah.
I'm pushing hard for Western New York. Every single thing, every location you could ever need is there.
Yeah.
A million interesting faces and places. Right?
Everything's 15 minutes away too. Every location is 15 minutes away.
Totally. It's so fun. You guys, do you know two things? I want each of you to recommend a film made in Buffalo to me to watch, especially if it's one of those small ones that I wouldn't necessarily have heard of if I hadn't been to Fantasy Fest, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or what is the festival?
Well, Amazing Fantasy Fest. So, the one I'm going to recommend is I'm going to self-deprecate here.
Oh, you're going to go with yourself?
Yeah, why not? I made a film back in 2014 called Dwelling. And this was me fresh out of college and me going, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, do I go to New York? Would I go to LA? I have no money. And me and my friend Brandon Williams, who was a media production major, kind of looked at each other and said, can we make something here? And it was about the same exact time that like everybody kind of had were coming off the ground, and we knew Matthew Nardone and Joe Blodgett and Matt Fleck from ND Studios, which is a rental company here. And Matthew Nardone was just the gaffer on the latest horror film that shot here. And we kind of were like, oh, wait, let's get the resources together. Who owns a camera? Brandon acted. He was a SAG actor. He knew people had been in stuff in LA and Atlanta and kind of brought them forward. And we spent 15 days in the summer of 2014 and shot this thing out for like $50,000. And that was it. Never again will that ever happen, but it was an amazing experience. And so I directed the film. It didn't come out for another 2 years because we went into post-production hell, and finally came out on the other side, and we were able to get distribution through Sony Pictures Entertainment, like one of their subsidiaries, and got into like Walmart exclusives, and when streaming just kind of became a thing in 2016. But I was very much like, okay, that I learned what an environment of participation and caring was, because everyone was there all in, like you said, like having those movies where you're just like all in to be there, and it was an incredible experience. And then I learned how to be a filmmaker after that. I was a production assistant and kind of then went down the path of learning. So my recommendation is my baby, but now that baby is over 10 years old, and I got to make another one. Yeah. It's time. Now I know the business a little bit more. So that's my recommendation. What do you guys got?
So if it's got to be a horror film.
It doesn't have to be.
I think with the horror genre, whatever.
I got a horror film and a non-horror film. The horror film was one that I think really exemplifies some of the work that the Buffalo crew can do here. And that's why I would tell you to check it out. And also shows some Buffalo scenery, I think, in a nice way, and that is a film that was made in 2023 called The Puppet Man. Yeah. And a lot heavily shot on the campus at Buffalo State University.
Nice.
That was an interesting one. And then a non-horror film, I would tell you, and I'm sure you may very well have seen this film already, but that's Buffalo 66, and that film has the Bills tie into it as well. So. Given how you've also been in a movie that's got the Bills in it, I can only, suggest that one too.
It's a good one because I haven't seen Buffalo 66 since when it came out, right? It was like one of those ones that you had to get at the DVD store.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. All right, good one.
I think my recommendation, if we're going to stick with that horror type of genre, was a film that I got a chance to work on as an actor as well as casting director, big studio film that came to the area, The First Purge. And that was shot, in Buffalo, New York. I had a day player role. I played Pastor Carl Armory in that film. But also you get a lot of Buffalo showcase, a ton of Buffalo extras. I think prior to us doing Holiday Touchdown, that was the film that required the most extras out of Buffalo. So it was a lot of Buffalo faces, in that one. And that was a big studio film, Blumhouse. So I would recommend The First Purge.
Jordan?
Did they shoot any other purges there?
No, just that one.
No, just that one.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay. What's yours, Jordan?
So I've got the hyper local indie flair because I run a 48-hour film project. So I run the Buffalo 48-hour film project. So I would send you Something There by 38 gigabytes, this year's winner, and it's a short, so easy watch. And I'd probably also send you my greatest 48-hour film. But I've helped people in this community produce over 250 films in the past 9 years through this competition. I've set the framework where they make them.
Right.
And there's the majors, there's the indies, and then there's the hyper local indie, and we've got that too. And they come out in force.
I love that, and I'd love to see those. And I'll tell you what, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's the kind of thing that local actors should be participating in.
Absolutely.
You should have too many entries for the 48-hour film contest. I love that.
We're always growing, and it's the actors' playground. I was just telling, I just was the judge of a talent competition that Harry hooked me up with, and my spiel at the end was, you got to check it out because it's not just for the filmmakers, because you need actors. You need everyone with every talent to be a part of it. And for the actors, they get to try out directors. They get to try out who they want to work with. And if it doesn't work out, pretty low commitment. And they also get their tape back real quick because it's done in 48 hours.
Sure.
You don't have to wait for that. It's nice for them. Yeah.
Well, and that's an opportunity for an actor to, first of all, every actor should learn all the other aspects of filmmaking because it just makes you appreciate the collaborative nature of making a film. Secondly, because we are now expected to, self-tape these auditions, and your audio has to be good, your lighting has to be good. If you have to edit it, you've got to have clean edits. You can't just be, fumbling with the camera while the professional casting directors like yourselves are not going to be inspired by that. 48-hour film festival is the perfect opportunity for an actor to write themselves the role they want to play. For me, I'm never gonna, we kind of touched on this earlier, but nobody's ever gonna cast me as the leading man. That may not be true, but let's just go with that premise, right? And something like the local 48-hour film festival, I can write myself a 5-minute love letter to what it's like to never be the leading man, right? So all of us have a film studio
it's true
in our pocket.
Yep.
You can literally make a movie by yourself with this thing. It's not going to be as good as if you involve other people, your friends, other actors, people who already do it. But there is no reason to wait for money.
No.
Make a film. Use what you have. There's a great thing called Dogma 95 that was set up by a director called Lars von Trier and a lot of other European art film directors. And it was essentially only use borrowed equipment. The script has to be handwritten. You only use available light. Simplified filmmaking. I would urge everyone who gets this far into this podcast to go and look at Dogma 25, DOGMA 25, probably .org, and read their manifesto and understand that with this and this, you can make your own movie. And you don't have to wait for somebody to finance it. And you don't have to wait for somebody to show up from Hollywood and discover you. You can make films for the audience you have. You can make films for the community you have. And if those pieces of art have heart, they will find a wider audience. I would encourage every single actor to start practicing filmmaking.
Yes.
Get another actor, get both your cell phones and shoot an interview. Just do that until you get the lighting right, until you get the angles right, until you understand what it means to cross the line. Because big Hollywood directors will still be like, am I crossing the line? I don't know if I'm crossing the line. Do you even know what that means, right? Like, this is how there's no shortage of free resources online for information. There's no reason to be afraid. There's no reason to think you can't do it. Everybody who's watching this podcast has watched enough movies to know how to make a movie.
Yeah.
You've watched enough behind the scenes. You've been on set and seen what they do. I encourage everybody to make their own film. There's no reason not to.
And now it's P number 2. It's practice. It's all about practice, right?
Sure.
It literally is. I've had the honor to be working with Buffalo State, my alma mater, for the last 6 or 7 years, in which I've been brought on as a production supervisor for their pilot, which is kind of like their keystone thing. So 2 weeks ago, I was able to be on there as a supervisor. And they're shooting their pilot. Now, they've been making short films, but now it's like they have 5 days, they have 12-hour days, they have to go run under the gun, and they have the equipment, they have the lighting, but like they never had done it as like a whole piece of the pie before. They've done it as like the indie filmmaking, but now it's like, okay, now you have actors in a room. Now let's block them, let's stage them, let's throw out that shot list that you thought you can get 70 shots in a day with, and like feel what naturally is going to happen. Yeah. And exactly. And like, let's see the blocking. Let's take that camera and move it to where it needs to be.
That's right.
And it was amazing. Again, every single year they impressed me. And this year, again, seeing that growth. And just within 5 days, how much better filmmakers and how much better actors they became, and just seeing that growth. And it's like, do that every weekend and see how quickly that practice will become to promise.
Totally. That's
well, listen, we actually have to wrap things up soon. But before, I need to hear this Oliver Stone story.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Yes.
Okay.
We can't.
I'm glad you remembered that, because my memory is like Swiss cheese. All right. So the movie wound up being called U-Turn. It's J-Lo's first feature film. She wears a very luxurious red dress, we'll put it that way. And I'm like a biker. And the scene is, I come into a convenience store where Sean Penn is getting a soda or whatever he's doing, and I rob the store and I take Sean Penn's bag of money. Now, in the audition, I want to say this was 1997, and so I was that's probably my peak of confidence in my own abilities and comfort in the process of auditioning. That was the year I did George of the Jungle. ER had been on already 3-4 years, and it was a big hit. So I go into this audition. It's a great casting director named Mary Vernew, who I've known for years and years. I believe that was her. I hope I don't get that wrong. Maybe you guys edit that out. Point being, so I go to the audition, and I'm supposed to be, this super tough guy, and I've got a gun to his head, right? And so I've got it like this. In the audition, and the camera's the camera, and I don't know why, but my line was like, "Give me the bag." And he said, "It's just books," and I say, "Oh, I'm a reader. Toss it." And so the reader off camera says, I say, "Give me the bag," and she goes, "It's just books," and I was like, "Give me the bag." I knocked the camera. Sorry, you guys, but I knocked the camera off this tripod. And that's how I got the callback.
Wow.
Oliver Stone says to me, "Man, you hit that camera. That was pretty smart." Right? So I'm in this callback, and it's me and Oliver Stone and Sean Penn. Okay? Oliver Stone has me knocking on Sean Penn's head, literally. All right, do it like it's a cantaloupe. Do it like it's an egg. Do it like it's a kickball. And Sean Penn's like just glaring at me. Such a strange and wonderful experience. And that is one aspect I miss of in-person auditions.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen, right? So the lesson to take away from that, my dear beloved young actors, is to be fearless. You're going to get a no anyway. Yeah. So why not go out swinging?
No,
I love it.
Great advice.
I love
Absolutely good advice. Abe, this was wonderful. Yeah. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be a part of this.
Go Bills.
Yeah.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
We will definitely be in touch, and let's make that knight in shining armor vampire movie.
Done. Absolutely done. Cool. All right, I've got my Buffalo film list. But next time I talk to you guys, I'll be an expert on all things Buffalo.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abe.
Thank you, guys.
Go watch Holiday Touchdown, A Bill's Love Story. It is streaming right now on Hallmark Plus. Let's get you back soon. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Podcasting Buffalo. That's a wrap.
I love you. I love you, Buffalo.